I love saying that I do a lot of public speaking. Thanks so much for inviting me, and I never get to say Assalamu alaikum to everyone. I do a lot of conferences, and I was just so excited that I could actually speak to my people today. So thanks for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here. So I don't have slides. I normally have like 100 slides, and I go through a lot because I do a lot of training in public speaking. But today, I thought, I just want to share a story with you. I want to share the story of how I grew up, my life in the United States, and how I became successful and hopefully inspire some of the new and the new generation that's here. But before I do that, where's Amma today? And Baba. Yes, Baba, Amma today. Amma today earlier, I was talking to him and we were sitting at a table. And I said, see, Amma today, I really think this new generation is going to take over the leadership of our generation. And I think he took that the wrong way. And he said, إحنا خلاص بقينا كخا. إحنا خلاص بقينا كعبين يعني. And I think some of the folks that are here are getting the impression that we're saying what you guys used to do and what you thought and all of that is bad and now we're going to change it. I actually want to give a lot of respect because all of us are only here because of them. So can we please get a round of applause for all of our fathers and our parents that يا ماما بابا كل الناس اللي هنا اللي عشانكم انتوا احنا جينا هنا امريكا. لو انتوا ما كنتوا ربيتونا لو ما كنتوا يعني عملتوا الساكرفايسز العربي لخبطني شويه. If you didn't sacrifice for us, we would never be here. So we're very grateful. And this country is the best country in the world to succeed and to make any dream come true, right? Guys, you're here, and that's hopefully the story that I'm going to tell you. So, my name is Sally, and I grew up in Sudan. I was actually born in Sudan. I wasn't born here. When I was 4 years old, my mother decided to defy her family and go get a PhD in Scotland. And that was sort of against the rules at that time. They're like, انت ما تعرفي تقعدي في البيت تربي أولادك تعرفي شنو? And so she's like, no, I want to get a master's degree. She got her master's degree, then she said, I want to get a PhD in Scotland, in Edinburgh, and I'm going to take my little daughter with me. And thank God for Baba being so supportive of that and letting her reach her dream. And her dream was always very different than any other person's dream. So I think she's the role model. She is the person, and my father has this philosophy.
He went to Scotland and I went to Numali.
My father's always been active. Why am I telling you that story? Because then you get to see the story of a woman who lived under, my mother, who lived under so many difficult circumstances of the traditional cultural world and learning, it's not important. Going to university and college is not important. And so when I went to Scotland and lived with her, she trained me and taught me the opposite. She taught me that you can be anything that you want to be. That you are your own boss, that any dream that you want to accomplish, Sally, the last thing that I want you to do is worry about home stuff. What I want you to do is get an education. I want you to be the smartest person that you can be. Anything less than an A was never acceptable for my mother and my father. And that's sort of the way that I was raised. And I think the message that it's just become apparent to me right now is confidence. You instilling confidence in your children, there's nothing like that. That is what made me who I am today, is that no one ever told me that I can't make it. Actually, my parents told me, you can do anything, you can be anything. And I cannot tell you, all the parents that are here, how critical that is. Do not tell your children that they won't amount to anything. They need you. They absolutely need you to tell them they are in the land where anything is possible. فالتفكير زمان حقنا ذاك بتاع انه لا تطلع بس دكتور تطلع مهندس ده كله كان في السودان في البلد دي anything is possible if you put your mind to it. Okay? So, my journey. I came to the US. I decided I wanted to be in IT. I love computers. Ever since I was young, I always played on computers. So I went through the IT world, got a bachelor's degree in management information system. Before I even graduated, when I was still in college, I was a sophomore. I think I like a year to go, 2 more semesters. I found an internship at an Omaha Public College district. And then I worked my butt off. I seriously worked so hard. The other intern girl that was with me, she was African American, she was like, hey, let's take longer breaks, let's walk outside. And I said, are you kidding me? Let me learn for free. I am here and I'm learning how to code and I'm learning how to program. I worked night and day. I learned every single thing that I could learn. They made me train and program in COBOL, and there was this new thing at that time in Oracle called PLC. Will any of you here in IT or programmers raise your hand? Or from the IT background? Okay. So PLC was difficult. Everyone was afraid of PLC at that time. This was like 10 years ago or 15 years ago now. And I said, I want to learn that. I can do that. And he's like, are you sure? And I said, absolutely, I can do that. Just let me know what I need to do. They saw how eager I was to learn and how I bent over backwards that he offered me. He says, you know, when are you going to graduate, young girl? And I said, well, I still have about 2 more semesters. He's like, well, that's too bad. If you were a senior, I would have given you a full-time job right now. Now notice, I'm making $13 an hour as an intern, and the full-time job is $45,000 per year. Which would you have done, right? Same job. So I said, well, let me actually double check on my credits to see. Made some phone calls, found out that I did have 40 credits remaining. It's about 10 classes that I had to take. I registered for all of them in the same semester. And had my full-time job. And graduated with honors. I am not telling you this to brag. I'm not telling you this to brag. I am telling you this to show you the power of determination, and that if you take your life seriously in the United States, amazing things will happen. 40 credits, full-time job, worked on Saturday, yes, cried many nights, but I made it. He got me the job at $45,000, was so happy. And after I graduated from college, immediately got another job offer for $58,000 right after I graduated and moved to another position. It was so funny because in one of my jobs, the guy showed me the ladder. He said, you know, welcome to the community. We are right now, you are in this scale over here. And guess what? After 10 years of working here, this will be the corporate scale that you'll be at, Sally, and you'll be able to make $75,000. And I'm like, whoa, that's amazing in 10 years. Not for me. I have my own plan, I have my own destiny. And no corporate America will decide what the ladder is because I'm an entrepreneur. I create my own vision and I build it. So then I went into the next position, and in all of the positions that I had in the corporate world, my #1 mission was to learn and excel. Learn and excel. Something that I learned here in the United States, which is actually في إسلامنا. الإتقان في العمل والإخلاص في العمل. الحاجة اللي تعلمتها هنا يعني ما بنعمل شغل ساكت. أنت لو if you live here in the United States وبتعمل شغل كده وسريع وتخلص وتديله, you won't move forward. But when you learn how to perfect what you do, when you are the best at what you do, whether it's a programming language, whether it's art, whether it's science, when you do it with your heart and out of passion, you will succeed in the US or in any country that you go to. And that was something that was so important to me throughout my entire life, is every job at Fanta. And my mother and my family knows how hard I work. Everyone knows how many hours, you know, I don't sleep at night, how early I wake up, just so that I can work hard and make sure that I'm really reaching goals. So, job after job after job, within 3 years of graduating from college, I was making about $90,000. And still in the corporate world, I was extremely happy, felt very rewarded. And then it wasn't about the money anymore. I started to fall in love with what I'm doing. So that's the story that I really want to tell you. When you come to this country, most of what you're taught is it's either going to be a business, you're going to start a business, or you need to continue on the professional world, right? How many of you have heard that? You know, go into the professional world. Most of you young people, that's what you think you're going to have to do, be a doctor, mohendas, IT person. Or you need to start thinking about a business. I want to tell you the story of how I took my profession, my career, made it my passion, and turned it into a multi-million-dollar business, right? That's the journey of, it didn't have to be one or the other. It really could be the same thing. It could be the transition. So within IT, for those of you that are in IT, how many of you are in project management? Or have a background in project management? Okay, one of the most frustrating things when you're managing large projects within these big companies is they all fail. They don't deliver on time. Technology, people don't talk to each other. There's a lot of dysfunction. And companies are really struggling with that. They're like, what the heck is going on here? Even with the latest technologies, even with the latest tools. I've started to get nosy. I don't think it's about being nosy, it's curious, right? Yeah. I got very curious. I started to learn. The companies that I was within, learning about what's going on and what's not working. And that's the biggest message that I want to give you here. Is instead of just trying to think of the business first, I learned, and then just like what he did in the pizza world, right? He's like, how can I perfect this? What are the gaps? And how can I learn from these gaps and create an opportunity for myself? I don't need someone to tell me, they started this business and this is how I'm going to do it. I want you to pay attention in whatever field that you're in. Pay attention to the gaps. Pay attention to the things that are not working very well that you can jump in and help with. Very quickly, I realized the problem with these large thinking IT projects is not the technology, it's the process. It's the whole project management methodology. It's the whole end-to-end execution. And so 8 to 9 years ago, I fell in love with something called Agile. Have any of you even heard of Agile project management? Raise your hand if you've heard of it. There's a few of you, okay? Hopefully next year, if we do this again, all of you will know about it because I'm going to give you access to our videos here. So I fell in love with Agile. I went and I got certified. When I wanted to get certified, I went to the guy who created Scrum. His name is Ken Schwaber. So I didn't want to just go take a regular class. I said, who's the guy that created Scrum? And there's actually two of them, Ken Schwaber and Jeff Sutherland. Those were the famous people at the time. I went and got certified by him. Came back, absolutely fell in love and said, I want to help organizations, government, large businesses transform the way that they do work. It has become the mission of the company that I've started. I want to go into these large companies, large government agencies, that are getting projects done so slowly in these silos. Do you guys know what silos are? Departments that just hand off work to each other. Very, very long process. And teach them Agile. Show them how to produce results. The other thing that really inspired me about Agile is it says bring communities together. People that normally don't work with each other, people that don't trust each other, how can you bridge the gap and bring them together? And of course, most people don't know that I have a hidden agenda in all of this, which is how can I ever use Agile, which has taught me and taught many companies how to bring people together, departments, and how can I use that as a way of bridging the culture divide that we have between us Sudanese, Muslims, Arabs, and the American people, right? That's my real ulterior motive, is how can I take this knowledge and create a culture that is united, just like I've seen it happen now all over these organizations that we help. So, long story short, I became a vice president for a company, learned a lot while I did that. It was a consulting firm. And then, it's time. It's time. I'm an entrepreneur, so I normally can't stay in a place for so long. And I always wanted to start my own business. So something told me it is time. You need to start your own business. And you know it when your gut is telling you it is time for me. I have to do something different. مشينا الحج وحجينا واستخرنا وجينا رجعنا للحج immediately, and I resigned from the company that I was at, and I came back and started the business in 2009. And that business was difficult. If you sign up to start a business, a small business, oh my goodness, you should know. You're signing up for a lot of work, but it's absolutely worth it. The whole first and second year was nothing more than me trying to make sure that I was busy and had enough business coming into me, and it was. After that, it was all about how can I add more people? How can I start scaling the business? How can I develop a website and have a presence? How can I create videos and put videos out there that people will begin to learn and understand? The work that we did in Omaha, out of nowhere, I started to create seminars and invite executives from all around Omaha, executives from all the companies to come and listen and learn about Agile. So all of a sudden, within my community, Omaha, Nebraska, there was this big interest in Agile. And companies like Blue Cross Blue Shield Mutual of Omaha started to ask us to come in and help them. Then, I started to go nationwide. I bought agiletraining.com. Any of you know anything about SEO? Have you heard of the word SEO before? Yeah. Okay, can you go to the tab, fourth tab over there? When someone types Agile training on Google, if you're not on the front page of Google, see agiletraining.com over there, where it says we are the #1. If you're not on the front page of Google, you're not going to get business. So you'll have to start marketing yourself. You're going to do a lot more work. So SEO is search engine optimization. Why do I want the young people to know that? It's because it's the new way of marketing. The old way of just knocking doors and calling people and sending flyers, that's one way. Or you can get Mr. Google here to help you out, right? So I very quickly actually purchased 60 different domain names, and all of them match the different keywords that I'm looking for, and made sure that if you are searching for Agile in the world, now if you're guys from Sudan and you're searching for Agile training, if you're guys from Canada, you're going to find us. We're going to be one of the first companies that come up for you. Somehow, some way, if you're looking for what we do, you have to be able to find us. Alhamdulillah, yalla baga business started to come from the internet. People start to call us from every company in the world that you can think about, right? So incoming requests. We grew to about maybe even 2.5 million just from all these incoming requests that were coming in. Are you familiar with PMI? Have you heard about PMI, the Project Management Institute? Yes. So those are the creators of project management. Very quickly, I said, how can we help PMI move to Agile? There was already a movement in PMI, and I joined that movement, and PMI asked me to help them create the new certification, the PMI Agile Certified Practitioner. So those of you that know anything about PMI, you probably know about the PMP. How many of you are PMP certified? We got some PMP folks over here. I'm going to convert you over to be PMI ACP certified now. Okay? So PMI asked me to help create the new certification from the review. I was part of the review committee, and that's why I have a video on our homepage, if you go to agiletraining.com again. And then I started, people said, oh, Sally, you do such an amazing job when you teach. You are so inspirational, we love what you're saying. And you should record videos. You should get your message out through videos because you're so passionate. I'm like, okay, let me get that on the plan, on the schedule. So we've produced over 200 videos right now for Agile, and that library is growing. We haven't even done a lot of marketing yet. Can you go to the third tab on agilevideos.com? You can see 45,000 views just for one of these videos, 7,000 views, 25, 30,000 views. That was a huge accomplishment, right? To just put something out there and see what happens. Again, none of this is to show off. I'm hoping this is just to inspire you. I've been waiting for so long to say, how do we give back to this community? How can I inspire a younger generation that can believe that it's beyond just being a doctor and an engineer, and it's beyond only starting a business. You can be a professional in this United States. You can start a business, and you can give back to this culture, to this country, and hopefully, together as a community, give back to our hometown. And one of the most important things through this journey, Yanni, that was so important to me that I want to share with you is, as I did all of this, I wanted to make sure the Americans knew that I was a Muslim Sudanese woman, right? Because some of us, we try to assimilate. You try to assimilate so much that you almost act, and honestly, a lot of people, if I wanted to act like I wasn't even Sudanese, no one would know, right? I don't look Sudanese, I don't talk Sudanese. A lot of people think I am an American. But I make sure that when I meet with executives, when I talk to them, let me tell you about Ramadan. Let me tell you about my fasting, right? I went to an executive session. We were all executives in that meeting. Executives of top companies in the United States, really big companies. There was 30 of them. And I want to tell you the story because it really affected me very much. And I hope that it inspires you in some way. I was sitting, and one of the first things that I saw on the wall is Islam and Christianity. They had these two lines going across. And they showed how Islam was going to go up by 2050. Christianity was going to be here. They had this picture of Munaqaba, a girl Munaqaba, and there was this big question mark, like, what will the world be like? It was that picture, of course, for everyone, had a different meaning than it had for me. For me, I was sad because I knew that people were going to look at that and be absolutely horrified that Islam was going to be, there would be more Muslims in the world than Christians. And that was really weighing heavy on me throughout that whole session with the executives. And I remember sitting down there and building rapport and having a great time and talking about leadership. Leadership is extremely important. If you want to know, all of the problems that we have in our Muslim world is because of lack of leadership. Lack of vision, lack of role models. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
We need leaders. That's what's missing right now. We need leadership, we need role models, we need people who their heart is with us, with the people, as opposed to with their own private goals. So this was a leadership development workshop. I was so excited to be there. I was very sad by the picture. And then at night, towards the evening, one of the guys started talking about prejudice. And then someone said, I have a friend and she's from a different culture and sometimes I don't want to judge her. And then that guy jumped in, a friend of mine, and said, you know what though, why are we dancing around this topic? Some of these people, like the Muslims, their religion tells them that they need to kill people. That is what their religion actually says. And so he kept going on and talking about this. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my God, first of all, he definitely doesn't know I'm a Muslim, right? Definitely I'm assimilating right now. And then second of all, I'm like, how could he believe that that's what this religion is about? And it was, my heart started pounding so hard. And he kept talking about, that's what this religion is about. Why are we trying to dance around it? Why don't we just talk to them directly about this? And I finally just had to raise my hand and I said, stop. I have something to say. But I had a moment while I cried, of course. I had to completely bawl. I was just crying for a second. I couldn't believe that I was about to speak for Islam. Because that wasn't my background. I'm not religious, you know. I'm spiritual, but I don't know enough. You know, I'm not going to be like writing out verses of the Quran here to try to convince him. But I just knew in my heart that I had to tell him something. And the first words that came out of my mouth for him was, our religion has been hijacked. What you know about Islam as Americans is not Islam. And the people that are speaking for Islam in front of you, those terrorists and those extremists, they're not us. Most of us, we don't even talk to you. You don't even know that we're Muslims. And I said, would you give me a chance, please, and take away all of your misconceptions and let me explain to you who we are as a people. And that was a very, very powerful moment for that whole group. Everyone broke down. And in the morning, they asked me, because that was a very dynamic moment, they asked me, they said, what's your wish from us as a group of executives here? And I had tarha, that I said, tarha, it was cold. So I took the tarha and I wore it over my head, and I wore the scarf. And I said, next time you see a woman looking like this, don't judge, because it's still the same person. And they asked me, that shook their opinion of Islam forever. Why am I telling you this story? I want to tell you the story first to inspire you, but I want you to know that you are all ambassadors. You represent Sudanese, Muslim, Arabic, American. The way, and African, absolutely, absolutely. The way that you behave, the way you come across, the way you speak, the way you treat people, the message that you carry is a representation for all of us, right? And so I'm hoping to inspire you to be successful in the United States, but also to help educate the rest of the American culture into who we are, so they can love us, so they can know who we are. Show up as you are. Don't either be with the Americans as if you're not Sudanese, or be completely Sudanese and say, let me judge all of them. No, there's a middle ground, and I'm hoping that you'll find that middle ground. Thanks so much for listening.